Okay, so how's everybody doing again? Welcome back. Good to see you all. Joseph TUDISCO here. Just a thought, acting like a business, and we're going to discuss resumes today. I'm sure everybody knows what a resume is. It's usually on the other side of your headshot. Don't send just resumes out on their own. It's unprofessional. Um, the one thing I could say about resumes is never lie. Okay, as large as this industry is, at times it could be so small. And if you get caught in a lie or don't have the right answers when they ask you questions, it's going to be a little embarrassing. And you certainly don't want to put yourself in that situation. I'll discuss a little bit about credits and proper credits and how to get credits in a little while. But first, I want to talk about the structure. I believe a resume should have a lot of white on it, okay? And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. It should be trimmed. It should be attached to your headshot. People glue it, that's fine, but sometimes the glue kind of loses its adhesiveness and the resume can be dislodged from the photo. I like to staple. I usually staple up in the middle and then on the bottom, two staples, and that's fine. Put the flat side of the staple on the headshot side so that the two prongs that close down are on the resume side. Now here's my resume. If you can see it here, there you go. And what I mean by a lot of white, and it's just in the border, in between the columns, to have a lot of white. Okay, it's easy to read. You certainly want your resume to be easily read. The more difficult you make it, the more annoyed casting people are going to get. They just want to see your credits right away. I'm not a big fan of sidebars here, with photos and sayings and your stats on the side, and you close everything in. It becomes more complicated and more crowded, and you certainly don't want that. Now, a resume is broken down into three parts. The top part here, up in here, is all your information of who you are, any unions, and whatnot. The middle half here, the middle section here, is all your credits, and we'll talk about each individual column and also each section. On the bottom becomes your personal information. What I mean by personal information is your training, where you trained, and also your skills, and we'll break all that down in a little while. So up on the top section, up here, okay, it should contain, you can put a border. I use a little bit of a border, okay, as you can see, my name, your telephone number, email address, your website if you have one, and an agent's contact information up there also if you're dealing with an agent. If not, then you're on your own and you put your own individual contact information down. You can put down your height and your weight, although most people don't put down their weight anymore, but the height is important. And your coloring, your eyes and your hair. At one time it was very important, but then again we had black and white photos. Today you have color photos. So I see more and more people eliminate that from the top section of their resume. All right, and that's a choice you can make. Center it, put it up on top, make it look a little focused, okay, centered, or however you want to do it. But let's not get crazy with it and stagger it all over the place, okay? It should have some form to it. We get down to listing your credits. You can put down, you have separate theater credits, film credits, and also TV. And I put TV and voiceovers in one category. That's the way I do. You can break it down. If you want to do four sections, that's fine. Commercials, you never list your commercials. Always put down commercials, conflicts on request. Because if you put something down, like I did a Delta airline commercial. So if I put down Delta, it's great that I've done it, but even though that contract may have expired, if someone wants to call me in for another airline, they won't do it because they think I have a conflict. Okay. Because once you do a commercial and you have a certain contract date, you can't do any other conflicting products. Oh, I'll get into that later on also. So you want to break it down into sections, and the columns you have, your first column here, hopefully we can get this to be a little more legible. Your first column here, this is funny, isn't it? Should be the names of the projects that you've done. I'd like to put the date down so it shows the consistency. You don't have to, but it shows the consistency of working. Then you move over. You can put down the director. I like to put down the director because you never know when someone knows the director. So I do a column in that nature. Then I do the role here, what the role was. Yeah, people put down co-star, that's fine, or leads. You can put down the name of the character. And then finally on the end, the production company or the studio, et cetera, et cetera. And you kind of do that all the way down. You have film, I have the film credits, then I have theater and radio and video here, and I break it up the same way. See, I do my Law and Orders here, okay? And then coming down to here is your theater, and you kind of still have it the same way, the name of the project, possibly the director, the character, and where the venue you did it. Make sure you have white in between, and those are how to list your credits on a resume. I've seen people cram small fonts. It just looks horrible. You don't have to put down every credit, okay? Put down your recent. I like to put my most recent up on top, and as I add, if I have no room, I drop the bottom one, or one of less prominence. Your resume should fit on the back of your photo. Trim it so that it's even. I've seen people with jagged ends. It looks like they ripped it with a ruler and just pulled it. Be a little professional, okay? Because it says a lot about who you are as an actor, let alone who you are as a person. So make it neat, make it fit, make it legible. Okay, as you move down and you go into your training, any prominent training you have, if you're taking classes somewhere, if you're doing on camera, all that information. If you've graduated from a college that you've gotten your theater arts degree or your drama degree or whatever it might be, list it. Anyone you're trained with, list it. And then underneath that is your skills. I like to center it kind of. Those two categories, I center the heading and then just kind of center it across. It just becomes easier to read. With your skills, please don't put down wiggle my ears. I work well with children. Hopefully everybody works well with children. Those are common sense things that casting people are going to think you have anyway. So let's not get too crazy with those things, okay? If you ride a bike and you ride well, fine. If you play baseball, maybe you've had some minor league experience. You played in college, played in high school. You can get out there and really play ball. That's fine. Look, if you played stickball in the street, with your friends when you were 12, 13 years old, don't put it down, okay? If you can't do the skill, don't put it down. And it should be more of things that you can do well, okay? Not things that you just toy around with, okay? You should also put down any accents or foreign language. It's very important. If you drive a stick, put that down. Put down you have a New York State driver's license or if any other state that might apply. Those are all the important issues you need to put down on your skills. I don't like sayings on a resume. I don't like fanciness. Again, cute doesn't do it on a resume. There's nothing cute that you can do on a resume that's going to get you called in. I've seen people use clouds in the background and different tree branches growing on the sides. It's not going to help you. It's just not. I'm not a fan of small thumbnail photos on your resume. You want enough information to show that you've got experience, that you've been on set, but you don't want to overcrowd it with too much because it makes it very difficult to read, and then I think you have a problem with that. Again, resumes, I like white paper. And the reason why is when you start to use color paper and people photostat it or they print it out, it becomes intrusive. It uses up a lot of ink. White, you want to do a little soft white or cream color fine, but white is the best. It prints out, it photostats and photocopies pretty good. It faxes great if you need to fax it. So don't overcomplicate. okay? You need to be truthful. Now, people will say, well, credits. Well, how do I get credits? Well, look, of course, if you don't have credits, you don't have credits. Every actor started with no credits. If you're doing extra work, try and stay away from putting down background. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'll address background work later on. But put down restaurant patron, passenger, waitress, things that have a significance of who you are in that particular background job. They're going to know its background, okay? Believe me, you can read a resume and see its background. And it's okay if that's all you have, that's all you have. You're indicating that you've been in front of a camera on your resume, and that's good. If you really have no credits, but you're in class and you've done some representative roles from shows, from plays, listed as representative roles. You did such and such a character from Death Trap, or you portrayed such and such a character in, a Brecht play in class, and you studied, and you for 2 weeks, and you presented it to your teacher. It's fine. You can put that stuff down if that's all you have. If all you have is background, then that's all you have. But as you accumulate speaking roles, you will see that you have to eliminate those other background or representative roles. And that's where your student films come in. That's where your showcases come in. And these will gather you credits, valid credits to put on your resume. Again, nobody starts off with credits. You don't have credits until you get credits. So please keep that in mind. Stay simple, easy to read, and truthful. Okay? And you'll do fine. Just keep it updated. Make sure you store it on your computer, either in a Word document or a program that you can easily update it and edit it. Excel spreadsheets, sometimes people use them, and when they can use those columns, and when they print it out, they would just print it out without the grid, and sometimes that can work for you also. And that's pretty much it. Don't spend a lot of money on paper. Don't spend a lot of money on special hard paper and all this other fancy things with texture. It's not needed. It is not needed. Save the money. You're going to need it. Simple is best. And that's what I have to say about resumes. Hopefully you'll join me back in for session number 3 here in Acting Like a Business, and presented by Just a Thought. And with that, stay well, and that's a wrap.